You are listening to the Novel Writing Podcast, episode 200. I'm your host, Colleen Mitchell. Grab a cup, cozy up, and let's get to writing. Today I am back after 3 months off. This episode is going to be a summary and overview of what I did during those 3 months and what my plans are for 2026. If you know me in real life, you know I identify as a combination of a Slytherin and a Ravenclaw, which means my 2026 goals are pretty ambitious, but we'll cover that later. First off, why the 3-month break? Long story short, I got sick at the end of September and developed a cough that showed up whenever I talked, and often when I didn't. So I was coughing basically all the time, and the one time I tried to record in October sent me into fits for several minutes. It was not fun. I resorted to just not talking to basically anyone for weeks, including at church, the gym, and Bible study. Unfortunately, that cough lasted over a month, and by the time I felt good enough to record, I was too close to deadlines for my 5th book to spend time not writing. So really, I took 3 months off to support finishing the last book in my main series, which I'm super stoked about. It feels relieving to have that last book off my plate, and as I record this, it's just been sent off to beta readers before the copy edit starts. I also went to Author Nation in Las Vegas, Nevada, during the first week of November. The next episode will be my breakdown of takeaways from the conference, including whether it's worth it for writers to attend. I will say that my impression of the conference has changed for the better since I went to my first one in 2024. And before I move on to the next thing, I just want to give a shout out to listener Phil Keys in Melbourne, Australia, since I met him at Author Nation, and he is a fabulous human who also has a podcast. I spent the rest of November finishing up the first draft of The Last Horizon, which is book 4 in my series and my 5th book overall. And I sent that for developmental edits right after Thanksgiving. Then in December, I met with my editor, rewrote the book again between then and just last week. And then the other thing I did was outline my next project, which is the villain backstory. And I'm starting the first draft this week with dictation. So then what is on the docket for 2026? I began writing full-time in August 2025 with the intention to speed up my output with dictation after finishing book 4. For more on dictation, go back just one episode to the interview with Seth Ring, a prolific author who dictates all his books. Because I was able to finish book 4 a lot faster than past books, my hope is to release it in May. Yes, May 2026, just 4 months from now, and less than a year since I released book 3. And that also means I want to begin an ambitious schedule of publishing something every single month from then forward. Do I know if it's going to work? Nope. Do I have high hopes? Yup. The thing about executing something as ambitious as releasing a book a month means I need to write months or years ahead. And that means I need to commit, and I am committed, to making dictation work. So this year, 2026, I plan to release 5 more books in the Talam universe, including The Last Horizon and The Villain Backstory. I also plan to start releasing books in a new genre and completely different universe. And if you have talked to me before at all in real life or through different digital means, then I probably have mentioned this project to you and you probably know what I'm talking about. But if you're not, then you'll have to wait. Another ambitious goal for this year is to run my very first Kickstarter, which would be for special editions of what's going to be all 9 of my Talam books. That means the prequel, the main series quartet, the villain backstory, and 3 others. So stay tuned for more on that, since it might be the only time I will produce physical copies of the prequel. And then, if things work out, I'll have a signing booth at Reader Nation in November, following the 2026 Author Nation conference. All in all, 2026 is probably my most ambitious year yet, but I have never felt as equipped for my goals as I do right now. Oh, and one other thing I plan to do is release audiobooks for all of my books. So if you have been waiting for audios, then this is the year that you will be getting those. You can expect regular Tuesday episodes of the Novel Writing Podcast again, Friday episodes of the Christian Readers Podcast, and the link to that is in the description. And if you're on my email list, emails anywhere from once a month to every week, but always on Fridays. I've also finally accepted that I will never, ever like social media enough to actually post consistently. So if you do follow me there, you won't get many updates except for book cover reveals and launch information. The best place to follow my work is really through my newsletter, which you can find in the show description. I really think taking those last 3 months of 2025 off really helped me gain back some creativity and motivation, since I'm also still figuring out how to structure my time when there's no 9 to 5 involved. In any case, that is it for today's episode. Thanks for joining me, and remember, the first draft is supposed to be garbage. The Novel Writing Podcast is a production of Colleen Mitchell Writes. For more writing resources, including Curios, Tally Inc. author services, and the 60-day novel writing challenge, check out the links in the description.